Welcome back, my friends. This is the second part of our journey through the 7 habits of highly effective people. If you have not yet watched the first part, I highly recommend you do so. The link to that video is waiting for you in the description below and also in the very first pinned comment, because the foundation you will find there will make today's lesson even more powerful. Now let's move into habit 5. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. Most people listen with the intent to reply, not with the intent to understand. They wait for their turn to speak. They prepare their answer while the other person is still talking. And as a result, true communication never happens. Covey teaches us that effective communication begins with deep listening. Not passive listening, not pretending to listen, but genuine empathetic listening. When you listen with empathy, you do not just hear the words, you hear the feelings. You hear the meaning behind the words. You step into the other person's world and see through their eyes. Think about it. How does it feel when someone truly listens to you? Not judging, not interrupting, not rushing. Just giving you their full attention. It feels rare, it feels powerful, it feels healing. That is the magic of habit 5. When you seek first to understand, you build trust. You make the other person feel valued. And once they feel understood, they will naturally open their heart to understand you in return. Covey says, diagnose before you prescribe. Imagine a doctor who gives you medicine without listening to your symptoms. Would you trust that doctor? Of course not. Yet in conversations, we often rush to give advice before truly listening. Habit 5 challenges us to slow down, to listen first, to ask questions, to reflect what we heard, and only then to share our perspective. This habit is not just about communication. It is about influence, because people will not be open to your ideas until they feel that you understand theirs. So here is your challenge. In your next conversation, resist the urge to reply quickly. Listen with the intent to understand. Say back what you heard in your own words. Show empathy. Then, once the other person feels heard, gently share your perspective. You will be amazed at how conflicts soften, how relationships deepen, and how influence grows. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. It may sound simple, but it is the foundation of every successful relationship. And as always, do not forget to subscribe to this channel. Your support allows us to continue creating content that inspires and empowers. And remember, the journey continues. The next part of this series is waiting for you in the description and the pinned comment. Make sure you continue, because each habit builds upon the last. And together they unlock the full power of effectiveness. Stay with us, my friends. The next step could change the way you connect with every person in your life. Habit 6. Synergize. Welcome once again, my friends. We continue our journey through the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. If you have not yet seen the earlier parts of this series, I invite you to do so. The links are waiting for you in the description below and also in the very first pinned comment, because each habit builds on the one before, and the full picture only appears when you watch them all together. Now let us move to habit 6. Synergize. This habit is about the power of working together, about creating results that none of us could achieve alone, about turning differences into strengths. Synergy means that 1 + 1 can equal 3 or 10 or even more. It is the miracle that happens when people bring their unique perspectives, talents, and experiences, and instead of clashing, they combine them. Think about music. A single instrument can be beautiful, but when several instruments play together in harmony, the result is far more powerful. That is synergy. Covey explains that synergy does not mean avoiding differences. In fact, it means valuing them. Because when we only work with people who think like us, we limit our growth. But when we collaborate with those who see the world differently, creativity expands, new solutions appear, innovation is born. Synergy requires openness. It requires trust. It requires the courage to say, I don't have all the answers, but together we can find a better one. Look at nature. A forest is not just a collection of trees. It is an ecosystem where plants, animals, soil, and climate interact in ways that sustain life. Each part depends on the others. That is synergy at its finest. So how can you practice habit 6 in your daily life? At work, seek collaboration instead of competition. Invite different opinions. Listen to ideas you disagree with. And look for common ground that creates a stronger solution. In your family, celebrate differences instead of fighting them. Understand that each member brings something unique. And together, you can build a bond that is stronger than any single part. In your friendships, look for activities where both sides can grow, where differences enrich the relationship instead of dividing it. When you live with synergy, you discover that diversity is not a problem. It is a gift. The whole becomes greater than the sum of its parts. So remember, the next time you face a challenge, do not ask, how can I solve this alone? Ask, who can I join with to create something better? That is the spirit of Habit 6. And before we close, do not forget to subscribe to this channel. Your support allows us to continue this journey together. And of course, the link to the next part is in the description and in the pinned comment. Because the final habit, Habit 7, will teach you how to renew your strength and sharpen your edge for a lifetime of growth. Stay tuned, my friends. The journey is not over yet. Habit 7. Sharpen the saw. Welcome back, my friends. We have reached the final habit in our journey through The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. If you have not yet seen the earlier parts, I encourage you to do so. The links are in the description below and in the first pinned comment. Because only when you watch the entire series do you capture the full power of these life-changing principles. Now let's explore Habit 7. Sharpen the saw. Covey tells us a story of a man in the forest. He is sawing a tree, working very hard, sweating, exhausted. Another person walks by and says, "Why don't you stop and sharpen your saw?" The man replies, "I can't stop, I'm too busy sawing." But of course, the truth is clear. If he stopped for a short time to sharpen the saw, his work would be faster, smoother, and far more effective. This is the lesson of Habit 7. It means taking time to renew yourself, to care for your body, your mind, your heart, and your spirit. Because you cannot give your best if you are exhausted. You cannot keep moving forward if you never rest. You cannot keep growing if you never pause to reflect. Sharpening the saw is about balance. Physically, it means exercise, nutrition, rest, keeping your body strong so you have the energy to live fully. Mentally, it means learning, reading, studying, feeding your mind with knowledge and creativity so you can keep expanding. Emotionally and socially, it means building relationships, spending time with people who uplift you, nurturing connections that give your life meaning. Spiritually, it means connecting with your deepest values through prayer, meditation, reflection, or time in nature, aligning your life with what matters most. When you sharpen the saw in all 4 areas, you live with renewal instead of burnout. You grow stronger instead of weaker. You find balance instead of chaos. So here is your challenge. Ask yourself, when was the last time you sharpened your saw? When did you last exercise? Learn something new, invest in a relationship, or reflect on your purpose. Do not wait until you are burned out. Start now. Even a few minutes each day can renew your energy and change your results. Remember, Habit 7 is what makes all the other habits possible. It is the habit of self-care, self-renewal, and lifelong growth. So take time to sharpen your saw, and you will have the strength to practice all the other habits with power. And before we finish, do not forget to subscribe to this channel. Your support allows us to continue sharing ideas that can transform lives. And remember, the full journey through the 7 habits is waiting for you. The links to the complete series are in the description and the pinned comment. Thank you, my friends, for joining this journey. May these habits guide you, inspire you, and help you build the life you truly want. Final conclusion, the 7 habits. My friends, we have reached the end of our journey through The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. From the very beginning, we discovered that effectiveness is not luck and not coincidence. It is built step by step, habit by habit. Habit 1 taught us to be proactive, to take responsibility for our choices and stop blaming circumstances. Habit 2 taught us to begin with the end in mind, to live with vision, direction, and clarity of purpose. Habit 3 taught us to put first things first, to choose what really matters over what only seems urgent. Habit 4 taught us to think win-win, to build relationships where both sides grow and succeed. Habit 5 taught us to seek first to understand, then to be understood, to listen with empathy before we speak, and to connect deeply with others. Habit 6 taught us to synergize, to value differences, to collaborate, and to create results greater than the sum of the parts. And Habit 7 taught us to sharpen the saw, to care for our body, mind, heart, and spirit so that we can keep growing for life. These 7 habits are not just ideas on paper. They are a way of life, a framework that can transform your work, your relationships, your health, and your future. Now the choice is yours. Will you just listen and move on? Or will you take one habit, practice it, and let it reshape your life? Because transformation does not come from knowledge alone. It comes from action, from daily choices, from practicing these principles until they become part of who you are. So here is my invitation to you. Start today. Choose one habit, apply it this week. Then add another, and watch how your life begins to change. And remember, you are not alone on this journey. We are building a community of people committed to growth, success, and true effectiveness. So do not forget to subscribe to this channel. Your support helps us reach more people who need these ideas, and it keeps this journey alive for all of us. Also, share this series with someone you care about. Because the best gift you can give is knowledge that empowers and inspires. The complete series is available for you. The links are in the description below and in the very first pinned comment. Go back, revisit the habits, take notes, reflect, and most importantly, take action. Thank you, my friends, for joining this journey. May these 7 habits guide you, strengthen you, and help you create the life you truly deserve. The journey of growth never ends. So keep learning, keep practicing, and keep becoming the best version of yourself. Until next time, stay effective, stay inspired, and stay true to your vision.